Today on Arts 24, one of Europe's most provocative and visionary artists. Exiled Russian director Kirill Serebrennikov is in Paris with two works that confront uncomfortable truths about history, power, and human nature. His new film, The Disappearance of Josef Mengele, exposes the Nazi doctor's escape to South America, while his bold, multi-language production of Hamlet is showing at Paris's Châtelet Theatre. Kirill Serebrennikov, hello.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for your invitation.
Both your Hamlet and your Mengele film open with skulls.
yeah, that's true. Actually, it's quite different skulls and different meaning of the skulls. For in case of Shakespeare, it's like in a Buddhistic tradition, the skulls are the protectors, or in European cultural tradition, it's like vanitas or memento mori, something about this.
Man is nothing compared to the vast bloodiness of history. An endless night out of which the ghost appears.
In a case of Mengele, it's like also memento mori in a way, but it's the start of coming to the void, of going back to the past.
You stage Hamlet with several actors speaking in 4 different languages. In a world that we live in today that's building new borders, why does Shakespeare's prince need to speak in this polyglot chorus?
Look, I'm a Russian speaker. I work in Germany. I work in France. I use English as a language for the communication. So I'm surrounded by different languages and therefore the cultures. So it was not only about the languages, but about the projections of Hamlet on the mirrors of different cultures.
Tu fais seulement semblant.
And it's very interesting. I adore how To Be or Not to Be sounds in German or in Russian.
Can you tell me what it sounds like?
It's better ask August Dill. He will do it.
Tell me in Russian.
Быть или не быть, вот в чем вопрос. In Russian it's quite meaningful because this phrase became a kind of meme and something more than just a line from the old-fashioned play. It gets much more meaning today and become something important even for the people who didn't read the play. That's what I wanted to explore in this performance, how the play, old play of the 16th century, became a myth of our time, how it reflects in our consciousness and subconsciousness.
Why do you think it does?
Because it's very powerful. It's about the nature of the human. It's some deep and important, sometimes dark, sometimes not dark, features of human beings. And a very important thing that Hamlet is about the inaction. We're stuck in between be or not to be, between to do or not to do, to kill or not to kill, and we are kind of paralyzed by all these knowledges and by all these reflections. And we're thinking, we're hesitating, but the real guy called Fortinbras just coming and solve everything.
Tu es brisé, mon pauvre prince. Tu veux que je sois jeune, belle, inoffensive et pieuse, en robe blanche, exclusivement blanche. Le noir t'appartient pour toujours. Le blanc me revient.
And you called the play, your Hamlet, Hamlet Phantomes.
Oui.
We are Hamlet's shadows, you've said, his ghosts. What ghosts are haunting us today? What are you talking about there?
It's probably what our film is about, Phantom of the Past. In case of Hamlet Fantômes, it's about the shadows of play itself. But in case of Mengele, it's about the past which bites people today, or all of us. And if we neglect or if we don't want to know anything about the shadows of the past, about the evil, it comes back.
Like Hamlet Phantomes, Serebrennikov's new film looks at what happens when ghosts refuse to rest. The Disappearance of Josef Mengele traces the Nazi doctor's escape to South America and the silence that let him live freely for decades.
Trinken wir lieber auf Argentinien.
And your film does try to place the camera inside the brain of one of history's darkest figures, really. Why did you want to show us that perspective?
Never done before, first. Second, it's quite important to understand. For me, it was very important to understand how it's possible, because we heard a lot of voices of the victims, and it's very important to give them they have a right to speak and to explain their pain and to tell about the pain. But actually, it's very important to get how it became possible. What is the origin of the roots of this absolute evil? So it's a lot of questions, and art exists just for asking the questions and to push us into thinking. I understand that Walt, and it's very important, I insist that Walt is very complex, and it's important to know and not to forget this, but it's important to know what is absolute evil. Killing people is absolute evil. Auschwitz is absolute evil. Anti-Semitism is absolute evil. Murdering and all this massacre happened in the Second World War is absolute evil. And there is no but. War is absolute evil.
Dann untertauchen und schauen, wie es läuft.
Sie sollten stolz sein, einen der herausragendsten Wissenschaftler des Dritten Reiches zu beherbergen.
Du bist nichts. Oder wenigstens Respekt.
August Dale plays Mengele in the film. He also performs in your Hamlet. Tell us why you like this actor so much.
He's a great actor of our time, and he's famous for being different. In Mengele, his absolutely amazing and exceptional performance show the person who is in panic, in exile, looking for possibility to survive, being under the hard watch of everybody who are looking for him.
Du bist mein einziger Sohn.
Hast du Menschen gefoltert?
Er ist unerträglich geworden.
Ich will nicht mehr! Ich kann es nicht! Ich kann nicht!
Die Zeit tötet alle Träume.
And here it's a person who reflects and who tries to understand his past and tries to get rid of the past, of his evil and aggressive and very cruel father, the figure of the father.
Betrachteten wir das Bild davon und schwiegen. Von der Tafel der Erinnerung lösche ich alle törichten Geschichten aus Büchern, alle Sprüche, alle Bilder.
You, Kirill, were imprisoned and then later exiled from Russia. When you create art about ghosts, about monsters, how much of that comes from your own experience with state power?
Of course, I'm rich in this experience. Of course, I use it. Of course, I know about this fears and being oppressed, and about this connection, terrible and bad connection with power, and about the past which bites you constantly if you don't protect yourself against it. So I know Russian history is such bloody, so that terrible, that horrible, that of course I can't stop using it. And at the same moment, it's what I'm rich about.
There's a line in
Rich with.
Rich with.
Rich with.
There's a line in your Hamlet that says, art is tongue-tied by authority. You were prosecuted for your art. Is this play also what happens when power tries to silence artists?
I can't stop saying about this. Of course, it's what I'm thinking. My former student, Zhenya Berkovich, is still in prison for the play and for the poetry, for anti-war poetry. Imagine, we're living in 2025, and today in Russia, there are a lot of political prisoners, and one of them, Zhenya Berkovich, sitting for the poetry and for the play. How it's possible, but it's possible, and it's what I can't stop thinking about.
There are so many references to today's world in the play. There's even a nod to Trump's slogan, Make Denmark Great Again. Are you drawing parallels between Hamlet's rotten Denmark and the politics of our own time?
No, but look, theatre is always a political statement, because when we start to communicate each other, when we start to speak about our pains, our fears, it's becoming statement, it's becoming political. Theatre is politics itself, because it's not about the silence, but about speaking, about the communication between the people. That's why the politicians hate theatre. Theatre is a very important thing. It pushes people into thinking, into reflection, into understanding, into getting something much deeper than all these political and other statements are.
Kirill, you seem to be so busy, you're doing so many things. Can you just tell us a bit about what you'll be doing next?
I'm just finishing my first French film, so French film in French. The name of the film is Après, but it's like very humble and very small something, but with big stars and Fanny Ardant, Le Garel, Guillaume Gallienne.
Okay.
It will be Chinese, French project.
Okay, sounds interesting. Look forward to seeing it.
sounds insane a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of continuing the Hamlet.
The insanity.
Insanity. The insanity. Yeah.
Kirill Serebrennikov, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have a talk with you.
Thank you.